Should we crack on with this?
With the brut measure, sure.
Now this is the house style.
It's the non-vintage brut. Just like for every champagne house, we have a main label, which is the non-vintage.
Yeah.
Some houses like to call their non-vintage a multi-vintage. Indeed, as I said, it's all about blending in champagne, and here we have a blend of one base vintage wine made with grapes from one harvest.
Right, okay.
And our cellar master is going to always use wines from the previous harvests.
Yeah.
On average 15, 20, 25%, on average 20% of the blend will be from previous harvest, maybe the harvest before and the one before that, in order to maintain the house style consistent.
Yeah. Did you guys make a vintage in 2003?
No, we didn't.
Right, okay.
No, we didn't. Bollinger did.
Yeah, I know Bollinger did.
Bollinger did. Small release.
Yeah.
A couple of houses did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But no, we didn't. It was a catastrophic harvest. For champagne. Bollinger is in another situation. They decided to make a statement and say, here's what Bollinger can do in a difficult year like 2003. It's not to say that Bollinger made a great wine in 2003, and they're not pretending they did. Yeah, they're just saying, like it or not, this is what we can do in a difficult. But it happened to be a great wine. So, but they didn't call it a Grand Année because they're a great year for Bollinger is going to be called La Grande Année.
Yeah. So tell me a bit more about this one.
Yeah. So it is a blend indeed of the 3 grape varieties that you mentioned a little earlier. Yeah. So we have Pinot Noir being the base of this wine. The structure
and most of your
relies a lot on Pinot Noir.
Right. Okay.
We are in Ayala. To get back to the now we're mixing a bit all this topics, but it's interesting. We're getting back to the name Ayala and the location of the house. Yeah. Ailly, one of the 17 famous villages in Champagne. Yeah. We have about 320 crus in Champagne, or villages, and 17 of them have the most prestigious status of Grand Cru. Yeah. Great growth. Ailly is the #1 Grand Cru village for Pinot Noir.
Right, okay.
Of course, therefore, we have to have a bit of an influence of Pinot Noir in our wines. Yeah. That's what people expect from Ayala. Many experts actually associate the name Ayala with the village. Yeah. Because the 2 first letters of our name are the name of the village. Yeah.
I think that
true coincidence that Edmond de Ayala married well in Champagne and ended up founding his house with his name in the village of Ailly. Yeah. And we just
very fortunate.
Yeah, we've just renamed the street that is along the house of Ayala in Ailly. Yeah. Rue Edmond de Ayala last year.
All about marketing.
Yeah, our address before was Boulevard du Nord. That boulevard still exists, but there's a street going along the walls of the house. Yeah. And that street has been renamed, and now so we use that address, 1 Rue Edmond de Ayala. So Pinot Noir is the base of this wine. You're right. Not enough dosage.
Wow. I think I just took too much.
It's a carbon dioxide.
Carry on. 40 die in peace.
So we have 45% Pinot Noir. You're right?
Yeah, good.
45% Pinot Noir.
Yep.
We do, however, have a very strong influence of Chardonnay. Chardonnay and Pinot Noir are the 2 great grapes in Champagne. The 2 very noble grapes. The 2 royal grapes. I'd say Pinot Noir is the king and Chardonnay is the queen. Pinot Noir gives...
Very poetic.
Yeah, that's what wine and champagne is all about. Poor little
Pinot Meunier. You know?
Poor little, he's the prince.
Okay.
Why the prince? Because Pinot Meunier gives liveliness, a youthful character to the wine. Pinot Noir...
So rather than the stage kind of elegance of the royalty, the king...
Pinot Noir gives the muscle, the body, the richness. Chardonnay, more the elegance, the delicacy, the finesse, the freshness. Yeah. That's why probably Chardonnay is the queen. And when you taste a Blanc de Blanc, which is in Champagne going to be 100% Chardonnay, because Blanc de Blanc meaning white from white.
Yeah.
The white grape is Chardonnay. Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier being red grapes. A Blanc de Blanc is always going to have that very creamy texture, fresh, delicate texture, very feminine style. And we do have a great influence of Chardonnay on our non-vintage. Here, Chardonnay is 30-35% of the blend.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On average.
So, how much Pinot Meunier
Do we use?
Yeah. God.
The balance. About
yeah, I know, but generally across Champagne as a region.
Oh, it depends on the house, really. Some houses will have a third of their blend being Pinot Meunier, half of the blend.
Yeah.
There are even wines that are a few houses that make a 100% Pinot Meunier Champagne.
Right, okay.
That exists. It's very rare, but because Pinot Meunier does not give the structure that the great Chardonnay and Pinot Noirs give to the wine.
I always think of Champagne as kind of like this fun party drink, and almost gets a bit lost in that kind of category, kind of everything
festive context.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that Ayala fits right in between that and a great wine.
Right, okay.
With the Brut Majeur here, we have exactly the style of champagne that you're after for a cocktail party.
Yeah.
Easy to drink, fresh, fruity, dry, crisp, great with food, with canapés, for example.
Yeah.
But also, since, as I was explaining, we add a lot less sugar than most champagne houses, we're exposing the wine a lot more. So we're giving also that wine experience.
I mean, it is quite dry, this.
It
and
is.
Then we drop down.
But we have that 20%, 20-25% Pinot Meunier that really brings the fruit to the front. Chardonnay also enhances the fruit. You can feel the winey structure from the Pinot Noir. It's first pressings only, so we're here focusing on the best fruit in Champagne.
Right,
Again, if we're able to present the wine with less sugar, it's because the backbone is there. The raw material is outstanding. Ailly is the #1 Grand Cru village in Champagne for Pinot Noir. The equivalent to Ailly for Chardonnay is Le Mesnil-sur-Oger. We focus on the Grand Cru and Premier Cru vineyards, the best fruit. And on top of that, we're going to use only the best juice, the first pressings.
Yeah.
Second pressings we do not keep. So what I'm trying to say is the ingredients are there to make a great wine, and we're therefore able to present it.
But she tastes
in
quite
a natural
tight.
state.
Still quite tight and fairly linear at the moment.
It is.
And how? I mean, a lot of
that's part of the style of the wine as well. You know, we're after this very clean, crisp, pure style. But it's a living product. So if you give it a bit of time, it's going to open up, and you know, with the change of temperature of the wine as well, you're going to have another perception of the wine on the palate as well. So,
how long can you keep the Brut Majeur, like, in your cellar? Because a lot of people
want to store it.
If you want to store it, one of the biggest problems, and we get a lot of emails saying, "How long? I bought this wine kind of back in 2000. Will it be okay?" And we just say, "Well, open it up and just see if it's all right."